this episode of the Reckless Wrench Garage. We get the 240 ready for some burnouts. It's pretty cooling all over the road. Alright though, should be fun. Welcome back to yet another episode of, say it with me,
Reckless Wrench Garage.
So if you haven't already seen the previous episode, you're obviously slacking, so you're going to have to click this link up here, go back and watch that one so you can see where we're actually at with this thing. If you did see the other one, then thank you for following along. We appreciate that. On this episode, we are going to finish up the wiring. We got to get all that nice and tidy, route it through the firewall, get it inside so we can hook up the ECU. We need to get the cooling system done. We need to get the power steering pump on here, or the whole power steering system. We need to adapt it to the 13. We have to go through and do a complete bolt check on everything. We're going to install this skid plate. Not that I need it or anything, but I bought it, so I may as well use it, right? We need to hook up the steering. So we got all the tie rods and everything in the last time, but I still haven't hooked up the steering column because I haven't messed with the inside of the vehicle. Get the fenders back on here. Tidy up the harness that's not all butchered. And we're also going to get the fuel system taken care of. I'll be picking up the fuel tank from the shop. I got to install the fuel pump, and we have to install the fuel pressure regulator. Then we'll adjust the suspension and see where to go from there. Enough talk. Let's get to it. I think that might actually be a little too tall. Now, we're going to install the power steering. Conveniently, I have everything that came off of that Z. Reservoir, the pump, cooler, the lines. Hopefully I can get the lines to adapt to this fairly simple. Here is what we are dealing with. On the 240, power steering sits over on this side. See the pressure line here, return line's down there. If you look underneath, you can see the cooler line. And then on the VQ, power steering sits right here. So we're gonna have to make the lines go from our passenger side over to our driver's side. See if we can make all of this work and use some of that. And I'm sure somebody makes something to adapt this to that and so on and such forth, but not too worried about that. I'll figure something out. You know the best part of dealing with electronics in the heat? When you press the record button and then you build this cool little power steering pressure line and it doesn't record. So I built it and it's there, and that's all you get. We got the fuel tank back from the shop, got it cleaned out. It was pretty rusty on the inside and there's a whole lot of sediment built up at the bottom. Had to do a little bit of scrubbing in it still to get it up to par. But now, I think it's clean enough. Now, from the limited amount of reading that I was doing, the fuel system on the 240 would not be sufficient enough to power the VQ. So, I got this box that I can't seem to open. Got it. Went down to Yearwood again, and I didn't really know what I was looking for, so Mike helped me out. Bam! I got a fuel pump. We're gonna stick this thing on that thing and hope it works. Yeah, screw your sound effects. Solid. Oh, that was quiet. Expected more out of that. Take this little guy here. So let's recap. Engine's in, harness is done, jump box is connected, cooling system's connected, but there's no cooling stuff in it. Fans are not connected yet. Need to finish wiring those up. Fuel pump, we're not 100% sure. We're going to see if it turns on because there were some wires that were disconnected and I reconnected them, so we're going to see what happens. Pressure regulator has not been set yet, so basically I'm going to turn the key, hope for the best, and it's probably not going to work, and then I'm going to have to mess with things and do this all over again. Let's give that a shot. Alright, let me give you a quick little rundown on the throttle pedal situation. Got everything hooked up, got the pedal put in there, started it, it idles, and that's fantastic. Hit the throttle pedal a couple times and nothing, it would kind of bog every time I hit it. Well, after some testing, figured out that the accelerator pedal position switch, which is this guy right here, it's two sensors inside of there, or it works like two sensors, and one of them was reading high voltage at wide open throttle. So I took it apart to try to see if there's something that I could mess with in there to make it work, but I'm not that smart, so I got another one. So we're gonna plug this in, test it, and give it a shot and hope for the best. See if we can go do some burnouts. 4.56, 0.8, 4.56, 0.79, 4.56. All right, that means wide open throttle's good, idle's good. We're gonna check sensor 2 just to make sure that's not gonna be an issue. At idle, we should have between 0.15 and 0.6. And we are at 0.38, 0.37, so we're good at idle. Wide open throttle should be between 1.95 and 2.5. And we're at 2.24. 38, 224. 38, 224. Cool. Let's see if it starts and revs up. Well, in the midst of attempting to correctly adjust this belt, but after making myself look like an idiot, I figured out what the problem was. Let's just verify one more again. so it turns out, after going through all of that, and ooh, that's gonna start a fire. After going through all that, messing with everything. I messed with the harness, the fuel, I tested all these wires, and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting, why the alternator wasn't charging. So we took the alternator out, we took it down to AutoZone, tested it, alternator checked bad, brought it back, hooked everything back up, still had the same problem, we weren't charging. Well, this harness was a rewire deal, and it had the factory 350Z plug for the alternator on it, and I left that one alone because I thought, okay, I need to use the 240 wiring harness plug, and because that went straight to the battery. That would make sense, right? Made sense to me. Well, it doesn't make sense for the engine running. So we swapped the plugs, and magic, witchcraftery, and I almost broke that.
Doesn't matter why it works, but it works.
But in the end, it was simply lack of me knowing what I'm doing, and lack of instructions. There were no instructions with this kit.
Let's be honest, if there was instructions,
I wouldn't have
we
read
probably
them
wouldn't have
anyway.
read them anyway. So. All right, so now that I'm here, pretty much all the work is done, which is exactly how I planned it.
Yeah.
We just have to fix
Go
some.
back. Yeah, hold on. If you're new around here and you haven't seen all of the 240 stuff, go ahead and click the link up here. Take you back to the playlist to watch all of them. And notice, good old Kris here showed up one time for the exhaust work. Oh, and no, I'm sorry. He did help me get it into the yard.
Yeah, but yeah, Kris has been doing all the. Yeah, I mean, Kris has got this, so it's good to go.
I just had to tease you a little bit. So.
Notice it didn't run until I showed up.
This is stupid. I hate you, Sergeant. I'm currently working on setting the ride height and gonna get started on the alignment. Setting the ride height in the rear, I have to drop it an inch. I'll probably bring the front up a little bit because I can't go any lower with the rear since I have the S13 coilovers. But I did notice that I'm making contact with the coilover body. You kind of see where it's contacting, where the yellow paint's at. So I'm going to massage that a little bit and make it to where I don't have to worry about that. And there we go. It is now massaged. I think I'm the best masseuse ever. So I cut them apart and I welded them back together, a 1/4 inch offset, about a 1/4 inch. All right, so we're gonna try to take this thing for a quick little test drive. Hopefully not piss off the neighbors too bad. Hopefully make it back. Any last words?
No, that's it.
Okay. quick, just to clarify, we're not running coolant in this, we're only running water. But what happened is I have a plug on the back of the coolant loop deal back here, all the tubing for the coolant, and the plug I used obviously wasn't strong enough. It blew a hole right through the top of it. So it doesn't seem like it's really going to be an issue. We're going to take the factory hose and route it through there and make it all factory type. But it did burnouts. Burnouts are awesome.
Burnouts.
So look for more coming up. You know who's not drifting in this? You. Like them apples.
We see how much you care about me. You even built me my own custom seat over there.